Namaste everyone, welcome again. Now today we are going to see exercise 5.2 of your NCERT textbook. This exercise is based on composite functions. Composite functions already we have discussed in last class. Let us revise. If y is a function of say u and u is a function of x, then dy by dx is equal to dy by du into du by dx. This is your chain rule, and by using this rule you can find derivative of y with respect to x. If y is a function of u, u is a function of v, and v is a function of x, then in that case your dy upon dx will be dy upon du into du upon dv into dv upon dx, like that. So you can extend the concept of chain rule. Okay, let us discuss this first problem. Sine x square plus 5. We have to find derivative of this function. So here I will write y is equals to sine x square plus 5. Now you can clearly observe that this is a composite function. If you consider u as x square plus 5, then you have y is equals to sine u. Now we have to find dy upon dx. So dy upon dx, how we can find? Here I will differentiate y with respect to x. I will say that then y is equals to sine u and u is equals to x square plus 5. Now dy upon du is cos u and du upon dx is 2x. Then by chain rule, we have dy upon dx is equals to dy upon du into du upon dx, which will give you cos u into 2x. Now this cos x is cos u is cos, in place of u I have x square plus 5 into 2x. So your final answer will be 2x into cos x square plus 5. Okay, so this is how you find dy upon dx. Now I will discuss one alternate method also. So again let us consider y is equals to sine of x square plus 5. Now in this alternate method, what we will do, we will apply this chain rule, okay, in one simple step. So for that, what you will do, you will first consider what is your inner function and outer function. Your outer function is sine and your inner function is x square plus 5. So you have to differentiate first your outer function, that is you have to differentiate your sine function. So derivative of sine function is cos, so you will get cos x square plus 5. Then you have to differentiate your inner function, which is x square plus 5. Okay, this is nothing but your chain rule only. So here you will get cos of x square plus 5 into derivative of x square plus 5 will give you 2x. So your result is 2x into cos x square plus 5. So indirectly you have applied the chain rule in this particular problem. So both the ways are okay, but the second method is little easy to understand, as well as you see more and more problems, you will find that this is a quite easy way to solve the problems using chain rule. Okay, now let us see the second question. The second problem is cos of sin x. So I will consider y is equals to cos of sin x. Now here you see that I have one function cos and inside we have one more function sine. Both are the trigonometric functions. So in composite function it could possible that the different functions what you have, they are all of the same type. So here you will say let u equal to sin x. Then you have y equal to cos of u, and u, as you know, it is sin x. So for chain rule, you will differentiate this y with respect to u. So you will get dy upon du. So therefore I will say that dy upon du is minus sin u, and du upon dx, when I differentiate u with respect to x, I will get cos x. So again by chain rule, I have dy upon dx is equals to dy upon du into du upon dx. So this dy upon du is minus sin u into this is cos x. This u I will replace with cos, so it is minus sin of, now we assume as sin x, so this is sin of sin x into cos x. Again I will discuss the alternate method. Y is equals to the problem is cos of sin x, so y is equals to cos of sin x. Now we will use indirectly the chain rule, so I will say that dy upon dx is equals to the derivative of cos x is minus sine, so it is minus sine of sin x. This is outer function we differentiated. Then we have to take the derivative of inner function, so this will be minus sine of sin x into derivative of sin x is cos x. So you can say that this is minus sine of sin x into cos x, so no further simplification is required. So this is your required answer. Dy upon dx is minus sine of sin x into cos x. Let us move to the next question. Our third problem is y is equals to sine of ax plus b. Now here um, you can see that ax plus b is your u part. So let u is ax plus b, then you have y is equals to sine u, and u, as we say, it is ax plus b. So therefore dy upon first I will differentiate this y with respect to u, so I will say that dy upon du is equals to derivative of sine u is cos u, and du upon dx will give me a. Okay, derivative of ax is a and derivative of b is 0. Derivative of y with respect to u, you remember the formula, derivative of sine u is cos u. So dy upon du is cos u and du upon dx is a. So therefore you apply chain rule. We say by chain rule dy upon dx is equals to dy upon du into du upon dx. So this dy upon dx will become dy upon du is cos u into du upon dx is a, and this cos u is nothing but u is ax plus b. So you will say that a into cos of ax plus b. Alternately, if we try to solve y is equals to, the problem is sine ax plus b, y is equals to sine of ax plus b. So alternately what we can say, dy upon dx is equals to derivative of sine is cos, so it is cos of ax plus b into, now you differentiate this ax plus b, so derivative of ax plus b derivative of ax is a and derivative of b is 0. So this is a into cos ax plus b. This is third question. Your fourth problem is y is equals to sec of tan of root x. Now if you see here we have composite function in which three functions are involved. First function is sec, second function is tan, third function is square root. So you can say, let first this inner part, let us say v is equals to root x. Okay, u is tan of v and y is sec of u. So you take v as root x, u as tan v, and your y will be sec u. Okay, so what we will do, we can differentiate this y with respect to u. So dy by du, the derivative of sec is sec u into tan u. Then I will differentiate u with respect to v because u is a function of v. So du upon dv, derivative of tan is sec square. So I will get sec square v, and then I will differentiate v with respect to x. So dv upon dx is 1 upon 2 root x. Okay. So therefore, I will say that by chain rule, we have dy upon dx is equals to dy upon du into du upon dv into dv upon dx. Okay, so dy upon du, we got dy upon du is sec u into tan u. Here we got sec u into tan u multiplied by du upon dv, we get sec square v into dv upon dx, we got 1 upon 2 root x. Now this sec u is nothing but tan v, and this tan v is nothing but v is root of x. So this is tan of root x. Okay, so here I will say that this is sec of, in bracket we have tan of root x into tan root x into sec square v is root x, sec of root x. We have considered v is equals to root x, and then into we have 1 upon 2 root x. So into 1 upon 2 root x. So this is 1 upon 2 root x into, now can I combine anything? Nothing I can combine. Sec square root x I will write first, as this is little simpler term, into then we have sec of tan root x into tan of tan root x. Okay, so this is dy upon dx. Now if I do this problem by alternate method, that means directly I will apply the chain rule. So y is equals to, again I will write the problem, y is equals to sec of tan of root x. Okay, now dy upon dx we have to find out. So for dy upon dx, first the most outer function is your sec function. So derivative of sec is sec into tan. So here you will write sec of tan root x. You are differentiating the function. Okay, whatever inside term, you keep that as it is. So sec of tan root x into sec into tan of tan root x. Now you differentiated this outer part. Then what you have to differentiate? You have to differentiate this inner part tan. you can write this as dy dx of, now you have to differentiate tan of root x, okay, or directly you can put the value of what is derivative of tan root x. So here you will get this, you will write as it is, that is sec of tan root x into tan of tan root x. Now derivative of tan x is sec square x, so you will write sec square. Now here the function is root x into d by dx of root x. So d by dx of root x is 1 upon 2 root x. So the same answer you got, but you got in less number of steps, and I think it is a little easy to understand also. So finally you will rearrange, you will write 1 upon 2 root x into, here I have sec square root x, then I have sec of tan root x, then tan of tan root x, that's it. So this is your dy upon dx. So now onwards I will solve problem by alternate method only. If you feel the first method is better, you can try solving problem by first method also. Fifth problem we have sin ax plus b upon cos cx plus d. So I will say y is equals to sin of ax plus b upon cos of cx plus t. So here you can see that I have ratio of two functions. So here I have to use the rule of u upon v. Okay, I hope you remember. If y is equals to u upon v, then dy upon dx is v into derivative of u minus u into derivative of v upon v square. So we use this method, and I will say that y is equals to, here the v part is cos cx plus d. So here first I will write cos of cx plus d into, I will say dy dx of sin ax plus b. Then we have minus sign, u is sin of ax plus b into derivative of cos cx plus d. So I will say into derivative of cos of cx plus d whole divided by, we have cos square cx plus d. Now this cos cx plus d will, as it is cos cx plus d, derivative of sin is cos, so you will write cos of ax plus b. Now you have to keep in mind that this is a composite function, so you have to differentiate this inner function which is ax plus b. So derivative of ax plus b is a minus, how a, because b is a constant term, derivative of constant is 0, minus, here we have sin of ax plus b into this derivative of cos is minus sine, so this minus minus I will take plus, and I will write this as sin of cx plus d into the derivative of cx plus d is c, so into c whole divided by, we have cos square of cx plus d. Now is there anything common? So nothing is common, only we can rearrange it. So a we will write at the first position, a into cos, let us say ax plus b, we will write first ax plus b into cos cx plus d, plus here we have c times sin of ax plus b into sin of cx plus d. If this a and c is not there, you could have used the formula of cos a cos b plus sin a sin b. Now in denominator we have cos square cx plus d. Now let us try this sixth question. Y is equals to cos x cube into sin square x power 5. So here this is a composite function. Along with that, here two functions are multiplied. Two composite functions are multiplied. So again, we have to use that u into v formula. U into v. What is u into v? So dy upon dx. We have seen that this is u into derivative of v plus v into derivative of u. This is your u into v method, right? So here dy upon dx, I will say that. So by applying this rule, I will say that dy upon dx. So I'm solving this problem. Dy upon dx is equals to u is cos x cube. Now, if you see your textbook, now they have written du upon dx into v first. Means they have written this second part first. So as in between we have positive sign, so no problem whether you write this term first or this term first. So cos x cube into dy dx of sin square x power 5 plus v is sin square x power 5 into dy dx of cos x cube. Okay, so first I have written this as per the formula. Now next what I will do, this cos x cube I will write as this. Then we have to differentiate this sine square x power 5. Now this is a composite function. Actually, if you see here, we have three functions. One is x power 5. Then we have sine of x power 5. Then we have sine of x power the whole square. So the outermost function is a square function. So first you will solve that. So the formula for x square is 2x. So you will write 2 into, here in place of x we have sine of x power 5. Then inner function is sine function. So the derivative of sine is cos. So you will write cos of x power 5. And then last we have x power 5. So derivative of x power 5 is 5 into x power 4. So by applying the chain rule, which you will solve in 3-4 steps, we have done in one step only. Then we have plus sign. So plus, here we have sine square x power 5 into, now here we have cos x cube. So cos x cube. So inner function is x cube and outer function is cos. So derivative of cos is minus. So I will write minus sine x cube, and then we differentiate this x cube and I will get 3x square. Okay. So this I will put in bracket. This is not this minus, it is in multiplication. So finally we will say that it is 5x power 4. If you want, you can take this x square common. No other term. This is sine x power 5 is also common, sine x power 5. So you can take those common terms out or write as it is. This 5 into 2 is 10. So you will write 10, then x power 4. So simple expressions I will write first. Then we have sine x power 5 cos x power 5 cos x cube. So let us write cos x cube into sine x power 5 into cos x power 5. Now this sine x power 5 into cos x power 5 can also be simplified. You know the formula of 2 sine theta cos theta is sine 2 theta. So you can apply that formula. Then we have plus, multiplied by minus. So we have minus sign here, and I have 3x square. Then we have sine square x power 5 into sine of x cube. This is my required derivative, dy upon dx. This is our fifth problem. Now sixth problem. This is not our sixth, this is our seventh problem. So y is equals to 2 root cot x square. So derivative of y dy upon dx is equals to, now this 2 is a constant number, but as this is multiplied by a function which include x, I will not say that its derivative is 0. I will write this 2 as it is in multiplication. Now the most outer function is your root function. So derivative of root x is 1 upon 2 root x. So here you will say that 1 upon 2 root, in place of x we have cot x square into then derivative of cot x square. Inside function we have cot function. So derivative of cot is tan is sec square. Cot is minus cosec square. So you will write minus cosec square x square. And then finally the derivative of x square. So derivative of x square you will say that 2x. Now this 2 and 2 I will cancel. This is minus sign and this is 2x. So you will write minus 2x into cosec square x square divided by root of cot x square. Now eighth problem, we have cot of root x. Y is equals to cot root x. Now I think this will be now simple for you. Derivative of cot is minus cosec square. So you will write minus cosec square. Here you will write function as root x into, you will differentiate this root x and you will say that this is 1 upon 2 root x. So dy upon dx is minus cosec square root x whole divided by 2 root x. This is your dy upon dx. Now let us discuss ninth question. The ninth problem is prove that the function given by fx is equals to mod x minus 1, where x belong to a real number, is not differentiable at x is equals to 1. Now as this function involves mod, it is always preferable to redefine the function. So this fx, I will say that it is equals to minus of x minus 1 when x is less than or equal to 1. Okay. Now when x is less than or equal to 1, you get this x minus 1 value as a negative value. To make it positive, we have to multiply by minus, as the function is of mod function which always gives me a positive value. So I will say that fx is minus of x minus 1. Okay, which is you can say that 1 minus x, but okay, fine, is equals to, now second, when x is greater than 1, then in that case I will say this is x minus 1 only, as x is greater than 1, so this will give me a positive answer only. Now I have to prove that the function given by this is not differentiable at x is equals to 1. So in our concept we have understood that how to check the continuity or differentiability of a function at a point. So I will say that k fx is differentiable at x is equals to 1 if limit h tends to 0 minus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 divided by h is equals to limit h tends to 0 plus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 whole divided by h. So your left hand and right hand limit derivative of the function at 1 should be equal. So let us first find this first part. Limit h tends to 0 minus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 upon h. Now when I say 0 minus, that means I have to see the value of function when it is less than. So here I will say that this is equals to this, here we will say is equals to limit h tends to 0, 0 minus you can say. Now f of 1 plus h, f of 1 plus h, you are going to take this upper value. When we take the value of h slightly less than 0, so this will become slightly less than 1. Here your answer will be minus. Now in place of x you are replacing 1 plus h, so this is 1 plus h minus 1, and then you have minus f of 1. So f of 1, if we put x is equals to 1, we will get answer as 0. Whole divide by, here we have h. So this value will give me limit h tends to 0 minus, here it is minus h upon this is h, which is minus 1. And limit h tends to 0 plus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 whole divided by h. So here you will get limit h tends to 0, f of 1 plus h. So this below function we will see as the value of h is slightly more than 0. So value of f of 1 plus h will be more than f of 1. So I will take x minus 1 and I will replace that x with 1 plus h. So I will say that it is 1 plus h minus 1, and f of 1 is 0 divided by h. Okay, why f of 1 is 0? So if you put x is equals to 1, you will get answer 0, na? 1 minus 1, 0. Okay, so therefore, so here this value will be limit h tends to 0. Now here it is h upon h, so h upon h will cancel and I will get answer 1. So here we are getting minus 1 and here we are getting plus 1. So therefore I will say that limit h tends to 0 minus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 upon h. This is not equal to limit h tends to 0 plus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 upon h. Therefore, I will say that fx is not differentiable at x is equals to 1. So, our function is not differentiable at x is equals to 1. Now, let us see the 10th question. So, here in 9th question, you understood how we check differentiability of a function. Let us see this 10th question. This is also on the same lines. We have to prove that the greatest integer function defined by fx is equals to this function is not differentiable at x is equals to 1 and x is equals to 2. Now what is greatest integer function? If you remember, we have discussed this in 9th standard. Greatest integer function will give you the greatest integer value which is less than or equal to the given function. So if I say here we have 5.5, then this greatest integer function's result will be 5. If we have 5, then its result is 5. And if we have 5.99, then also its result will be 5 only. Okay, so it will give me the greatest integer which is less than or equal to the given function. So my function is greatest integer function. We can redefine this function. So I will say that fx, I will redefine the function. We get fx is equals to, now when x is greater than 0 and up to 1 means when x is greater than 0 and less than 1. I will not say less than or equal to, I will say less than 1. Then in that case its value is 0. Its value is 1. when x is greater than or equal to 1 and less than 2, and its value is 2 when x is greater than or equal to 2 and less than 3. So we redefine the function. Now I have to check the differentiability at x is equals to 1. So I will say that the function fx is differentiable at x is equals to 1 if limit h tends to 0 minus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 upon h is equals to limit h tends to 0 plus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 whole divided by h. Okay, so let us calculate limit h tends to 0 minus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 whole divided by h. This will be equal to limit h tends to 0, 0 minus, you can say, f of 1 plus h. Now 1 plus h, now when I am taking h as less than 0, f of 1 plus 1, 1 plus h will become slightly less than f of 1. So when I am taking value less than 1, my function's value is 0. So here I will take this as 0 minus f of 1. So f of 1, when I put the value 1, my answer is 1. So f of 1 is 1 and whole divided by, we have h. So minus 1 upon h, which is not defined if you see. Now limit h tends to 0 plus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 upon h will be equal to limit h tends to 0 plus. Now here, when we take h greater than 0, then our value f of 1 plus 1, 1 plus h will become more than f of 1. Now when it is more than 1, so I have to take this value 1. So we will take 1 minus 1 upon h. So this will give me 0 upon h, which is 0. So you can see that this is minus infinity and this is 0. So therefore you will say that limit h tends to 0 minus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 upon h. This is not equal to limit h tends to 0 plus f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 upon h. Therefore fx is not differentiable at x is equals to 1. In the same way, I'm pretty much sure that you can check the differentiability of function at x is equals to 2. Now, if I want to check differentiability at x is equals to 2, I will say that fx is differentiable at x is equals to 2 if limit h tends to 0 minus f of 2 plus h minus f of 2. You can see the difference here. I am using 2 plus h. This should be equal to limit h tends to 0 f of 2 plus h minus f of 2. Now here it is 0 minus, here it is 0 plus whole divided by h. So get their values. Now when you take 2 plus h and h is less than 0, you are going to use the value 1, and for f of 2 you are going to use the value 2. So 1 minus 2 upon h minus 1 upon h. Okay, you will get minus 1 upon h as minus infinity, and in second case you will get 0 upon h, which is 0. So again, at x is equals to 2 also you can prove that it is not differentiable. So this covers your exercise number 5.2. You have done all the problems of exercise number 5.2. I hope you understand. Now for more practice, you can get more questions from NCERT Exemplar or RD Sharma book. Or do one thing, solve the solved examples which are given in this particular exercise. In the next class, I will meet you with another concept that is called implicit function and derivatives of implicit function. Thank you.